Good morning, campers. I'm just leaving the Relax Inn, which you can see behind me there. Headed back to the trailhead, which I'm not entirely sure where it is. There's the Relax Inn sign. Okay, I figured out where I'm going. It's right across from the Sunoco station. There's the Sunoco station, and the trailhead is right here behind me. You can see the sign. That's the trail. So I'm heading back into the woods. It's about 7:30. I wanted to get out of the motel at 7, but I had to go to the bathroom and just last minute checking things, and I had trouble with my pack. I had it packed, but there was something hard that was sticking into my back. I had to take a few things out and reorganize a few things. I think it was my cook pot. Something was stabbing me in the back, but it feels okay now. The only problem is it's super heavy. I just topped up my food. I have a solid 5 days of food, my regular daily types of food, and then I have extra dinners. I have like 9 dinners because I've stayed at so many hostels, and one of them, she cooks dinner for you if you want. Actually, 2 of them, Woods Hole Hostel and Weary Feet Hostel, they both made meals, so I didn't have to use my dinners. And then other hostels, it's like, well, I have a frozen pizza, or you can order Mexican. You get Mexican food, the restaurant next door or whatever. So I just haven't been going through my dinners. I haven't had a dinner, one of my camp dinners, in like 10 days. Tonight will be the first time in like 10 days that I've had a camp dinner. It's Saturday. It was a week ago, last Wednesday, the last time I had a camp meal. So I'm not happy about how heavy my pack is. It's really heavy, and making things worse. I was planning on doing almost 18 miles today. I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. That's kind of demoralizing to me. And then have to set up camp and everything. Oh, cook dinner and my gosh, I don't know. That's rough. I may need to cut it short by a couple miles if I can find a campsite. The problem is any campsite short of that, like in the 15, 16 mile range, no water. So either I have to push to get to like an 18 mile. There's a campsite that says it has a stream nearby, although it sounds like it's kind of unreliable a little bit. So if I'm going to stop short, I got to carry water for a few miles. And I've already got a super heavy pack. I do not want to carry more water. Right now I have about 1.5 liters of water on me. My God, my pack is just, I gotta have close to 35 pounds right now. All right, anyway, enough rambling about the food. Heavy pack, long day, tough day, not looking forward to it. It's very foggy, a little foggy, misty, cool, which is nice. I just have to plug away. I can't take any long breaks. I just gotta walk and hike today like it's my job. See if I can't get to 18 miles at a reasonable time. If I'm not confident, later in the day that I can get there within or by 6 o'clock, I'm gonna have to stop short. So I have to really do some planning and calculating. Do I need to stop short and carry water? Can I go the full distance? And if I do, will there be water available? All questions remain to be answered. Okay, there's a big mishmash of trails right there, and behind me you can just see there's like little offshoots there, and back behind me, trails going off in different directions. So I'm like looking at the GPS going, which way am I supposed to go? I don't see a single blaze. There's a post up here, but there's no blaze on it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to wander around and keep checking GPS to make sure I'm on track here. Oh boy. Okay, so this seems to be the trail, and terrible blazing. There's these wooden posts. You see one right in the middle of the screen there. Looks like it's just a big pole sticking out of the ground. Those usually have blazes on them when you're going across a field or a meadow. No blazes on them. There's like 3 of them, but they're blank. But if you look, you can see there's kind of a path here, the green grass. On the left side here is stuff that's been mowed down, and the right side stuff that's been mowed down, the brown stuff. And this green that's a different color, it's a different texture, it's a different types of plants, grass and clover and whatnot. So this is the trail as far as I can tell. I did see one blaze back there. It was not a good one, but I'm gonna keep going on this and see if I see more blazes ahead. Okay, so my instincts were correct. This is where I came from, and you can see the trail here, and it curves around, and there's actually behind me, there's a wooden post with a very, very faint, chipped, faded, worn blaze on it. So I checked the GPS. Sure enough, the trail does a hairpin turn back on itself, then it does another one to the left up here. So I'm back on the trail, but really poor signage there, which is unusual because when you're going across private property like that farmer's field, they want you to stay on the trail. So that's why they put those posts up with blazes on them to keep you, you know, from point to point to point through their meadow, farm, pasture, field, whatever it is. Oh man, big face full of cobweb. Oh, okay, I gotta check myself here, make sure I'm not covered in spiders or something. After I walk through that spider web, I see this dark thing going across the rim of my hat. It was a spider. So I had to take off my hat and shake the spider off. Whoa. I don't like a spider that close to my face first thing in the morning. I have one big climb today. I can't remember the name of the mountain. It's about a 1,500 foot elevation gain over the course of about 3 miles. So about an average 10% grade. I'm hoping there's switchbacks. I hope that's not too bad. That's my biggest climb of the day, and I'm coming up to it. I'll get that out of the way this morning. After that, it's undulating stuff, you know, 100 foot here, 200 foot there. There's one sharp up and down later. It's fairly small. It's only, you know, 400, maybe 500 feet at the most. I gotta cross a railroad track. So, not too worried about that, but I just gotta keep plugging away here. Okay, so here's a boardwalk that's been covered in metal mesh screening, which is a good idea. Here's the thing: you have to orient it the right way. Right now, watch my foot. The screening, the top part is all going this way, so that means I can still slip. You gotta have it oriented this way. See how it's. Okay, so they oriented it the wrong way. They had the right idea, but note to trail crews, you have to orient it so that the rough part is going perpendicular to the path of travel. Otherwise, I mean, that's slippery. That's almost as bad as nothing. So let that be a lesson to you, trail crews. Orient the screen the right way so people don't slip when they're moving forward. So when you're hiking down a trail, and it's really kind of dark and dense on either side of you, you can't really see into the woods, I like to make noise, make sure I'm clacking my poles against the ground, or occasionally just call out, "Hey bear," so that if there is a bear, you're not startling them. Oh, there's a deer up here looking at me. Hi baby. Oh, there she goes. The reason I bring this up is I just heard a noise off in the woods about 150 feet or so. Couldn't see anything, but I could hear sticks breaking and whatnot, so I was like, well, it could be a deer, it could be a bear. So just start making noise. Bears don't want anything to do with you. They want to get away from you. So if they know you're coming, you're not startling them, you're not coming up on them quietly, they'll get out of here. They'll leave. They're not going to bother you. That's why I've never been worried about bears on the trail. I'm only ever worried about bears with my food at night, you know, hanging my food and making sure that stays safe. But I'm not worried about a bear like encounter on the trail. I'm not really worried about any kind of animal encounter on the trail. Well, maybe a skunk. But other than that, no. Okay, 1 hour in, checked my progress, 2.5 miles. That's pretty good, but that never holds up. You know, that's when I'm fresh and I'm not sore and tired and sweaty. So I expect that to drop to 2 mile an hour pace, and going uphill even less, maybe 1.5 mile an hour pace. But it's good to knock off a chunk of miles, first couple hours in the morning. I got an uphill now, but off to a good start so far. So this is inside the schoolhouse, and you can stay here. You can sleep on the floor, obviously, of the schoolhouse, but they still have the desks. That's really cool. 1894 is when this was built. But yeah, there's a little register here and everything. But it's cool. I met a couple who said they stayed here for the night. But that's pretty cool. I'm back up here. Get a look at it. Let me turn around. Oh, there's even a privy back there, a little outhouse. So, yeah. So you could stay at this over 100-year-old schoolhouse. Interesting. You don't have to go all the way to the shelter. You can just hang out here, and you're enclosed. Very cool. So the Chatfield Memorial Shelter just stopped here. It's about 4.6 miles into my hike. It's exactly the 2-hour mark, so average 2.3 miles an hour over the first 2 hours. Just stopped here for a quick break. Didn't even sit down. Just had half a candy bar because it's one of those king-size candy bars. So I broke it in half. I'll have the other half like in an hour. Sign the register, have a quick drink, and then I got to get back on the trail. But just wanted to show you. This is the Chatfield Memorial Shelter. Painted white inside, which is unusual. But this says the Partnership Shelter here is 7 miles. So that's a famous shelter because you can order pizza there because it's close to the road. And it's also one of the biggest shelters down here in Southern Virginia. Can't remember how many people it sleeps, but it's pretty big. So I'll probably stop there for my next break. That'll be about the 11.5 mile mark. That'll be about 2/3 of the way done, close to it. So good spot to stop at my next break. Okay, that sign used to say Glade Mountain. I don't know what else it said below it, but so I'm at the top of Glade Mountain, it looks like. Downhill from here. Unfortunately, this is the trail. Doesn't look like a trail, does it? Looks like a big mess of weeds, because that's what it is. Like once again, Virginia, you get my vote for most poorly maintained trail on the AT. Okay, I don't know what left that poop, but it's a pretty big one. And I've never seen one quite like that on the trail. So it's either a sick bear or a sick deer. I don't know. But hopefully I don't encounter whatever left that there, because that's kind of gross. Okay, so I've been out for a little over 5 hours, 5.25 hours, and exactly 10 miles right now. But remember, I took about a 10-minute break at the Chatfield shelter, and I saw a couple guys on the trail going the other way. They were taking a break. I was chatting with them for about 5 minutes. So I'm holding about 2 miles an hour average, and all my big climbs are over for the day. So it should get easier. So I should easily be able to maintain 2 mile an hour, if not 2.2 or so. So I'm in good shape. I'm going to stop at the Mount Rogers Visitor Center, which is just a little over a mile ahead. See if they're open, see if they got anything good to eat, vending machines even, something. Use the bathroom, maybe get some water, drink the rest of my Gatorade. Oh, and I whacked my head. There's a tree across the trail, and he had to duck to go under it, and I didn't duck low enough, and I bonked my head, and I rubbed it, to make it feel better. When I took my hat off, there was a little spot of blood inside it. I was like, son of a gun. So I put a tissue on my head, folded over, and I put my hat back on just to absorb any blood, and I don't want my hat getting all bloody. So I'll have to do a little first aid. I'll have to clean the wound, going to sterilize it with some rubbing alcohol. Put a little Band-Aid on it just to protect it, so my hat doesn't irritate it and rub it. But I've whacked my head on this trip so many times. It's one of those things. Good thing I have a hat on. Help protect me. It would have been much worse if I didn't have a hat on, because it would have been skin on tree bark, and it's just like, ooh, really would have done a number on my head. Oh, nuts. The visitor center's closed. Oh man. Oh, the bathroom's open. I guess I'm not getting anything to eat after all. Nuts. That's crazy. There's the partnership shelter. It's just behind the visitor center. Very nice. Very nice condition. You can tell they maintain it. There's a shower in there, but it's not working. It's not turned on. And it's not terribly big, but yeah, you could sleep half a dozen people comfortably, it looks like. It's in good shape. It's a nice looking shelter, and it's got a covered picnic table there, and then some steps and a fire ring with benches around it, and a nice privy way over there. Nice privy. It's a pit toilet, actually. So there you go, partnership shelter. So I took a break at the visitor center. Not open. The bathrooms are locked. The water fountain was turned on, so I got water. And the dumpster was available, but I already had my pack on by the time I found the dumpster. I didn't feel like taking off my pack to throw out my trash. My trash can't weigh more than an ounce or two at this point, because I was just at the motel last night. So I started out this morning with no trash. So it's just a few wrappers from stuff I've eaten today. Wasn't worth taking off my pack for. So disappointing, the visitor center wasn't open. There's no vending machines there anyway. There's a sign that says no vending machines. There's no public Wi-Fi. I mean, what's the point of that visitor center, really? You can't get snacks and get on the internet. But oh well. The fact that it's shut because of COVID, that's their excuse. That's the only place I've seen that's closed down because of COVID. Crikey, we've had a vaccine for 1.5 years. Why are we still having things closed down? That's silly. It says face masks required on the door, but I guess that's not good enough. So I ate, I filtered some water, and I patched up my head. I cleaned it up, a swab with rubbing alcohol on it, and then put some rubbing alcohol on the pad of a Band-Aid, slap the Band-Aid on top. So I'll leave that on there for a couple days, and I'll peel it off probably Monday. Let it air out and scab over. So anyway, I'm off and running. I'm gonna go for a tent site. It's between 6 and 7 miles. There's like 3 in a row, 3 within a half mile of each other, and 2 of them say they have a water source. So I'll just check them. If the first one has water, I'll stop there. If not, I'll go to the next one. If that one doesn't have water, I'll go to the next one. But 2 of the 3 say they have water. So I guess we'll see. I think they're trying to torture me. It's just a big old rock slide all the way down the trail. Okay, it's 4 o'clock. I just checked my position, and I'm 1.9 miles from the first of the 3 tent sites. So I should be at the first tent site by 5 at my current pace. It goes downhill, and then there's a small up, and then down all the way through the 3 campsites. So that's really great. I'll be at the first campsite by 5. Even if I decide to go to the 3rd campsite, I would be there by 5:15, 5:20, the latest. Fantastic. I wanted to be there no later than 6. Getting there before 5:30 means I have 2 hours of daylight. I can boil my water, rehydrate my dinner, eat, clean up after dinner, brush, pack up my Ursack. That's going to be the challenge. My Ursack is full to the brim right now because I have too much food. I'm obviously going to eat some food tonight, so I'm hoping I can make a little bit more room, but I have to be able to fit my Smellies bag with all my toiletry stuff. and my eating vessel, my cold soaking plastic jar that I use to eat my dinner out of. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to repack that Ursack really, really efficiently to make room for everything. Okay, I heard the sound, I thought it was rain. It's the electricity going through these lines. I have never heard a power tower, electrical tower, this loud before. This is really, really disturbing. My God, it's humming, it's buzzing, it's crackling. Good Lord. Somebody needs to come out and take a look at this thing, because this can't be good. Holy cow. I gotta get out from under this thing. Yikes. Okay, I'm out from under it, but wow. Okay, I just stopped at the first campsite. Nice campsite, I would happily camp there. Nice and flat, covered in pine needles, no water. The stream is bone dry. So that's a calculated gamble I took, not bringing enough water. My pack was heavy enough as it is. So the next two sites are also supposed to be near streams. So going on to the next one, 0.2 miles. Okay, so I decided to come back to the first tent site. Let me show it to you. So basically this is the site. There's a little fire ring there. There's supposed to be a stream back here, but it's dry. So what I did was I walked to the second campsite, which is 0.2 of a mile down the trail. This is supposed to be a stream right here. There's just nothing, it's just bone dry. A little gully there. So I walked down to the second tent site, found that. See, this is all dry. And there's water down there, but I didn't like that tent site as much. It was right next to the trail. It was small. And I said, geez, you know, there's water here. I'll fill up with water here, and then I'll walk back 0.2 of a mile to this spot. And it's a little bit off the trail. The trail's about 40 or 50 feet up that way. Well, the trees are really dropping those nuts or whatever. I don't know what kind of trees those are. Anyway, so I'm going to get my water going, start heating up my water for dinner, get out my food, get everything ready to go for dinner, and set up my tent. I got to pick a spot here. There's a lot of roots, so it might be a little tricky to find a real good spot. I do like the pine needles, but as you can see, there are tree roots like this, crisscrossing all over the place. All these tree roots. So that makes it a little tricky to find the ideal spot, but I'm sure I'll figure something out here. I'll pick the best spot for tonight, just for one night, so you know I'll survive. Probably right around here, I'm thinking, but I gotta walk around more. Anyway, that's what I did. So I like this site, no water. Next site, didn't like it, but they had water. Got the water there, came back here. So you always got to be thinking on your feet.